Hello, this is Courtney with C Cluck Creative. Thanks for stopping by. I have something a little bit different for you today. I have holiday gift tags. Pretty easy to put together with a few items. I'm starting with Crafter's Closet tags. I picked these up at a local craft store. There's 20 of them in there. Just a craft color. I measured them and the size is 1 3/4 inches wide by 2 7/8 inches tall, and that measurement is how tall it is up to that hole. So that I use that measurement in a few minutes. And then I have some Moda Scrap 6x6, a 6x6 paper pack in the Forever Green collection. This makes color coordinating super easy. I cut bits from these different papers. I do not use this sheet right here, the kind of pre-made tags. I'll save those for something else. And then I pulled some My Favorite Things cardstock scraps that I have. I used Gumdrop Green, Kraft, Primitive Cream, and Primitive White. Matched pretty well with this paper pack. So what I'm going to start doing is doing some prep work, cutting out a bunch of different elements, so at the end I can just layer and glue and get my tags put together pretty quickly. So as I said, I started off by measuring my tag, and then I drew a little picture. You can see in my note, I drew a little picture reminding myself that 2 7/8 measurement goes up to about that hole punch right there. So I decided to start with some larger rectangles that I cut to 1.5 inches by 2 5/8 inches. So I took off a 1/4 inch on each side and did a few of those in each. Basically cut a strip of the 6x6 and cut a couple, I think I got 2 of each color, and then a little bit of extra, which I piled those up and used those on some of the cards as well. So I went through all of my cardstocks. There's 12 in the pack, so I think there's actually 11 that I use because if I remember right, that tags counts as one. And then I went back and cut some smaller rectangles for layering. The smaller rectangles were 1 1/4 inch by 2 inches. So I'll layer these up here for you so you can kind of see how these two sizes look together. Wanted a little bit of play on the sizing. So here I started off with a Sizzix circle die, but then I switched over to the stacked dies, which you'll see in a minute. But what I'm doing is I'm just kind of seeing how that die fits over the sentiments. This is Mama Elephant's Mini Merry Messages stamp set. So I picked 6 of my favorite, put them into my Misti here so I could stamp all 6 at a time. And then I did stamp this on the Kraft Gumdrop Green, and then also on the Primitive Cream and Primitive White. And I went through my ink swatches to determine which colors of ink matched these papers the best. And I ended up with Catherine Pooler's Over Coffee, a little bit darker brown, and then the Altenew Forest Glades green. So I did a combination of, I did the brown on the green, and then a combo of some green, some brown on the white and cream cardstocks. So I just stamped these a few times, pressing very lightly each time, just so I'm not distorting those images. So here's all those sentiments. And then I start with this larger Sizzix die, and then in a minute I switch over to the Sizzix stacked tiles, the circles. And that made my die cutting a whole lot easier because that set has 5 of each side. And then I also cut additional circles out of those patterned cardstocks as well, just for layering. So again, with all 5 of these, I was able to mass cut very quickly, get all these prepped so that I can start my assembly and really get these tags put together quickly. I do end up cutting down that smaller circle just so it's consistent with all the other sides. I use a bit of micro pour tape to hold these dies in place. So here we go. I've got my 3 sizes of rectangles. I've got my sentiment coins, and then I have 3 of the different size circles. One of those stacked tile circles I did not use. But what I do here is I grab a handful of tags at a time, generally working 4 to 5 at a time. Here you can see 3 that I've already put together, and just kind of layer up and play with the design, mixing the different papers. Some designs I repeated numerous times, other times just they're one-offs. But it was just, this is the fun part, is just playing around with these cardstocks. Once I get 4 or 5 of them laid out, I pull out my Distress Collage medium and begin adhering to get everything put together. Pulled out my tweezers, but I ended up not really using them, just going straight to fingers to adhere everything. Didn't really need the precision of the tweezers. Using the Distress Collage medium here is a good adhesive glue because it gives you a little bit of wiggle room to make sure you've got things placed right where you want them before it cures and holds on tightly. I tend to use Gina K Connect Glue a lot, but that does not give as much wiggle room time. So it just kind of depends on what I'm doing. But lately I've been all about the Distress Collage medium. So here I go. I've got all 20 cards put together. You see some of the designs are repeating, some are one-offs, but they all match each other very well. The Kraft tags and this card pack, and then those few bits of cardstock scrap that I put the sentiment on, just all go together very well, make this a really easy project. Get a few close-ups for you. So hopefully this inspires you to pull out maybe some paper packs that you haven't done anything with yet. I still have a lot of cardstock left over half of each page that I can use for some scrapbooking pages or maybe some larger cards that could coordinate with the gift tags. But I hope you're having a good holiday season, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.